Welcome to Denison Forum's Daily Article Podcast for Thursday, April the 30th, 2026. I'm Chris Elkins, narrator, giving voice to today's daily article, written by co-founder and Chief Vision Officer, Dr. Jim Denison. The New York Times has named Taylor Swift one of America's greatest living songwriters. American Idol recently had each of its singers perform from her songbook. What is the secret of her abiding popularity? Consider this anecdote. In her Times interview, she explained that she wrote her hit song, Love Story, at the age of 17 after her parents wouldn't let her date an older man. Quote, I have this very strong opinion that when you're young, you feel things on such an intense and detailed level. According to Time, her ability to connect with the frustrations and sadness so many people feel makes them feel seen. If the latest research is to be believed, the audience for such empathy is only growing these days. University of Chicago economist Sam Peltzman recently documented, quote, a sudden, sharp, and historically unprecedented decline in self-reported happiness in the U.S. population, end quote. Journalist Derek Thompson cites Peltzman's work and adds that the Federal Reserve's measure of U.S. worker satisfaction has fallen to its lowest level since the survey began in 2014. Consumer sentiment has also fallen to the lowest level ever recorded in the 70-year history of the survey. Here's what these indexes have in common. They begin to plunge in 2020 and have not recovered. According to Thompson, the explanation is simple. Quote, as a cultural political force, the 2020 pandemic never ended. He's calling the COVID-19 pandemic the permademic. Thompson explains, American sadness this decade has been forged by the fact of and the feeling of a permanent, unrelenting economic crisis amplified by a uniquely negative news and media environment and exacerbated by the rise of solitude and the declining centrality of trusted institutions. Inflation has made today's life harder to afford, while the ambient awareness of other people's triumphs on social media has made tomorrow's success feel harder to achieve. Thompson continues, the ongoing collapse of confidence in the establishment has made Americans feel unusually adrift and dissatisfied with institutions outside their control, while the chosen self-isolation of modern life has demolished communal trust as we increasingly experience other people's minds through the toxic surreality of our screens rather than through the embodied reality of strangers. End quote. It is hard for humans to live without hope, a sense that our lives are progressing along a trajectory that will make the future better than the present. We go to school in the hope that we will learn and achieve in ways that will position us for careers of success and significance. We take jobs in the hope that the money we earn and the tasks we perform will give our lives meaning and security. We marry and begin families in the hope that we will forge homes of mutuality and joy. But we somehow know that we are in ourselves insufficient to this yearning of our hearts, that we need the help of others if we're to grasp the hope we seek. Consequently, for many centuries, those who inhabited the Christendom of the West believed that their faith in God, expressed through the participation in the sacraments and traditions of the Catholic Church, would ferry them forward and into eternity. Protestants refocused their hope on the Scriptures and their promise of personal salvation in this life and the next. For multiple millions, secularism supplanted both with the confidence that unbridled human reason and scientific advances would open the way to a more utopian present. Then came the pandemic. For the first time in living memory, none of us was safe and all were at risk. A virus with no vaccine or cure could infect and kill us. We watched in horror as makeshift morgues were erected to house too many corpses to count. Nearly everyone lost someone they knew or knew someone who had experienced such loss. My wife and I recently took a road trip, stopping at a cafe for breakfast. As we waited for a table, my attention was drawn to a laminated poster near the door depicting a smiling, bearded, middle-aged man. According to the explanation beside the picture, he was the founder and owner of the restaurant, a man who loved his family, his employees, his customers, and his life. He died of COVID-19 in 2021 at the age of 64. Such posters could be posted in businesses and homes all across the land. Neither faith in God nor trust in secularism insulated millions from death. Those of us who survived learned that we are just as mortal as those we lost, our lives and futures just as frail as theirs. But perhaps we've learned the wrong lesson from the pandemic. Rather than abandoning hope in a future that can be so easily taken from us, we can choose to refocus our hope in a different dimension altogether. Rosie Sultan is the author of a beautiful and moving narrative of divorce, disease, and healing titled The Art of Letting Go. She tells of her divorce, life as a single mother, and her leukemia diagnosis. She employs the Boston Marathon as a metaphor for her journey, writing that marathon runners, quote, let go of their doubt at mile 20, their exhaustion at mile 23, their need to look graceful as they cross the finish line. They hang on to their next step and the one after that, but they let go of everything else. After watching this year's race, Sultan reports, I walk home under the trees and think that the answer isn't to hang on. It isn't to let go. It's the art of sensing which choice will carry you forward step by quiet step. End quote. Let's reframe her eloquent reflections within the encompassing grace of Jesus. We do not hang on to him. He is holding on to us and will never let go, promised in John 10, verse 28. When we consciously practice his abiding presence, he carries us through the day, the only day that exists, step by quiet step. As we turn our thoughts to him, his Spirit fills our thoughts with peace, revealed in Philippians 4, verses 6 and 7. James 1, verse 17 explains that as we spend our moments in glad gratitude for his manifold gifts, every moment becomes a gift to us. Even, and especially, in the hardest places and darkest days, we find that our Savior suffers with us, grieves with us, and sustains us with his unconquerable love proclaimed in Romans 8, verse 37. And we find our hearts filled with hope, not just for a blessed future we cannot yet see, but with a joyful present we can embrace today. The 14th century mystic Julian of Norwich assured us, quote, all shall be well, and all shall be well, and all manner of thing shall be well, end quote. Do you agree? Note, for practical ways to experience the presence of Christ each day, please see my latest website article. A link to it is in today's podcast episode notes. Listeners like you support Denison Forum's mission to deliver news discerned differently. As a ministry nonprofit, we are fully donor supported. To partner with us, please donate today using the donate link in our show notes.